Welcome! This is Bubba's Fried and Baked Cooking Show. We're going to show you how to make southern fried food, but make it a little healthier. We're going to start by teaching how to make southern fried pork chops and jacketed taters. We're going to start with showing you how to prep the taters. First you want to wash them because you want to make sure all the dirt's off there, or else it'll taste a little bad and you don't want that. Lukewarm water. Always lukewarm water. You don't want to burn yourself, you don't want to start cooking the tater. You want to make sure all the dirt gets off. All three of them. Or however many you're making. I personally like the golden potatoes because they cook a lot faster, but it all depends on what potato you like. So, first off we're going to start off by putting them with butter. And the reason why we butter them is so that they get crispy, and the reason why I use the salt is to take out the rest of the moisture so it gets even more crispy. You're basically going to be making a fried baked potato in the oven with no grease, no oil, no nothing. You want to just take margarine or regular butter, whichever one you prefer, and just take a lot and just make sure it's all around the tater. You also want to have some water next to you so you can wash your hands so you don't put butter on everything else. Now, the salt, you want to make sure the potato actually looks like a salt lick, or else you have to do it again. The reason why you put so much salt on it is, again, it takes out all that moisture and it saves you from putting salt on it afterwards. It actually tastes pretty good. Like I said, make sure all the potato is covered. And always wash your hands as you're going. Make sure you have a nice thing of hot water so you can also do the excess dishes. Keep your counter space clean. My mom actually taught me that trick. And then she drove it into my head. So you want to put them, once you have them all salted and buttered and salted, you want to put them in the oven at 375 for at least an hour or an hour and a half, depending on the potato. Now, we are going to start on the southern fried pork chops. So, for the southern fried pork chops, you want to start with a cup and a half of breadcrumbs or 2 cups of flour, all depending on the preference of the maker. There is no wrong answer. I prefer the breadcrumbs because they give you a bit more of a crunch. You want to also put in there 1 tablespoon of sage. The sage is because, well, you put poultry seasoning with chicken and other things. Sage goes with pork. It just makes it taste better. You also want a teaspoon of black pepper. Pepper actually is one of those things that takes away some flavor, so not everything is too overpowered. Salt adds flavor, which is why we're not doing this. The pork actually has natural salt in it. You don't need to put salt when you're cooking pork. A teaspoon of garlic powder. And you just want to make sure all that gets mixed up. The more you mix it up, the more the ingredients get in together, the more even it is placed around the pork chop. Now, that was the dry ingredients. And again, we'll go over that again. A cup and a half of breadcrumbs or 2 cups of flour, a tablespoon of sage, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and just mix it up. Now, for the wet ingredients, you want at least 2 cups of milk, and 1 egg for 3 pork chops. You want to double that every time you add 3 or more pork chops. The reason why we use milk and eggs is because it makes a better binder for the breadcrumbs and flour. And as you can see, sometimes you make a mess, so you might want to clean that up before. Listen to my paw. Drink before you do this. So like I said, 2 cups of milk and 1 egg. And that just makes the better binder. And just use a regular spoon, fork, or egg beater to mix that together. Again, it doesn't matter which one you use as long as you get it all mixed up. Now, I don't normally do this, but if you want, you can also put a little Worcestershire in there. If you do that, just a teaspoon of that. But if you just want to use this, that's fine too. Now, okay, so I've already showed you how to bread your pork chops. Now we're going to cook them. You just put them in the milk first, make sure they're all nice and wet. And then you put them into the breadcrumbs that you've already pre-seasoned. Now, you just put it in the pan until you just are able to fry them. And the reason why we're using the cast iron is because it actually brings in another one of those health factors that actually makes it healthier, like I mentioned earlier. The cast iron needs little to no oil. If you're going to use oil, only 25 milliliters, or basically just spray it with some cooking pan and you'll be good. Now, like I said before, you don't want to not actually cooking it, you're just looking to brown it. And it should, when you're browning it, what you're looking for, the color, is that right there. No more than that. Once it's that like that, do the same thing on the other side. And then the cooking part of that is done, and then you just put it in the oven. Now, when it comes to the oven, it all depends on how thick your pork chop is. Sometimes it could take up to 30 to 45 minutes. Other times it can take up to an hour. This one right here, it's a pretty solid thickness, so I'm going to put it in there for an hour. When it's completely done, what you're looking for is a golden brown color. Like that. That is beautiful. If it looks like that, you did good. As well on our journey, we're going to be doing other cool things like ingredient hunts. We're going to go to the store, find the freshest ingredients. We're also going to go to other restaurants, try some of their good food, and see if I can make it myself. When it comes to, and sometimes we're just going to go through the cookbook, pick a recipe, and we're both going to learn how to make that. That is going to be fun. And we're also going to get locally sourced food, like we can get from farm to table. I know my mom's friend Jaquel is actually a farmer. If we're lucky, we can actually get her on an episode telling us how she actually grows the food herself. And that's Bubba's for Fry and Bake. We'll see you next week. We're making cornbread, and you'll enjoy.